Okay, by the completion of this video clip, you will know the different views. You will also know how to use the navigation pane, find and replace, how to print if there's several pages in a document, how to print just one page or a range of pages. You'll know how to create and rename a folder, how to save a file in a different format, and you will also know how to use a template. So we're going to begin by changing our document views. Just a few things to know that maybe will make your life a little easier in here. Of course, you can always go to the View tab, and then you have right here Zoom. When you click it, you can change your zoom to whatever you want. Whole page is always a good one that I like, if you can read something that small, and that way you can see your whole document on the page. If you have several windows open at once, you can arrange them so that you can see everything in every window, in a smaller version of it, of course. But I like to use down here when I'm using the zoom, I come down to the lower right corner and I use the slide bar down here. That lets you zoom in and out very quickly and easily, and it does not require you to click on a ribbon or anything like that. So, and down here also you can see your different views. Right now we're print layout, which is the most common to use. This is reading layout. If you click that button, it changes it to look more like a book. So if you're reading it, for errors and stuff, then you just click the arrows and there it tells you end of document. You can go back like that if you're reading it for proofreading or just for pleasure. So typically when you're working in a document, though, you're going to be here in print view. Okay, so that's how you can do that. Another thing too that you might run into that in the past students have ran into, up here is a little bit of white space, and when you point, just to show like a piece of paper laying on a desk with a ruler above it, basically is what it is, and they put a little space there for the space between. If you are ever in here and your document looks like that and you can't see your top margin, okay, a couple different things tell you that there is a top margin. Number one, if you look over here at your ruler, you can see that you're at 0, okay. So there's a margin up there, okay, but if you want to get that back, because that's really hard to look at and really hard to read, and then you can see too your pages are really scrunched together down here when you go between pages. If that ever happens, you can point here at the top when you get that double-headed arrow, double click, and that brings it back. Okay, moving on now, you can also something that's relatively new, I think it was new with Word 2010, is the navigation pane. So you can go to the View tab and put a check mark in the Show section next to Navigation pane. Okay, then what you can do is put a word or something in here that you want to search for, and then it will return. It'll show you the page it's on. For instance, in this document, I'm going to type Alaska. Okay. And you can see here the headings. I want to see the pages it's in, so I can click here and see that it's just on page 1, and then I can actually see over here the occurrences, and if there isn't any on page 2, but there is some on page 1. Results, it'll even show me a brief excerpt of each one. So then if I wanted to go in and change Alaska to Hawaii, I can see that I'd have to change it in 2 places. Then I might want to use the Find and Replace feature. So Find and Replace is on the Home tab. Over here, Find just lets you find something. There's Replace. You can click Replace to get there quickly, but if you click on Find, well, that brings that up. You can click on the down arrow by Find and then Find Advanced, and that'll let you replace, but I'm going to click Replace. Okay, so now let's say we want to find and replace a word. Okay, for instance, I want to find Alaska and I want to replace it with Hawaii. Okay, there's a couple ways I can do this. I can do it real quick and easy by doing Replace All right away, and it comes back and says we made 2 replacements. Do you want to continue searching from the beginning? Because it depends on where your cursor's at in the document. If my cursor was like right here and I did that, it would replace them all from that point down. So I don't know where my cursor was at when I did this, so I'm going to say yes. And then it says done. We made 2 replacements. Okay, well that's all fine and dandy, but where are the replacements that it made? Okay, the first one's showing up only because I looked for it in the replacement or in the navigation pane, but otherwise I wouldn't have any idea what was changed. Okay, so I'm going to click undo here to change that back. Okay, and instead of doing find Alaska, replace with Hawaii, replace all, I'm going to do the find and replace. So it looks like it found the first one. So I'm going to click replace. That replaced it. Okay, and now it stops on Alaskan. Okay, do I want to replace that one? No. Okay, only Alaska with Hawaii, not Alaskan. So find next. Yes. Okay, so it's just the one that we wanted to change. Okay, so I'm going to close, and we're done with that. Okay, that's find and replace. Let's say, for instance, we are going to print. And the only thing we need to print right now is the second page. There's a couple different ways you can do it. Okay, you can click on the second page, go to File, Print, and in this room you're always going to choose HP OfficeJet Pro 8600, which is network right here. HP OfficeJet Pro 8600 network. That's the name of the printer in this room. And if I only want to print page 2, remember my cursor's on page 2. I know that even now because I can look here and say page 2 of 2. That means, you know, page 2, and when I point at it, current page pops up for my tooltip. Okay, so what am I going to print? Instead of printing all pages, click the down arrow. You can do print just the current page. And then when you click print, it will just print page 2. Or to be more specific, you can say page 2, okay, or page 2 to 2. Then you know for sure it's only going to print page 2, okay. So there's just a few things you can do. I'm going to back out of print here. Next I'm going to do this document, and if you look up here in the title bar, you can see that the file name extension is .docx. That is an Office 2010-2013 version of this Word file. There might be occasions, not so much really anymore, but when 2010 first came out, where you would want to save it as an older version of Word so that other people with an older version of Word could open it. That's one time that you might want to change it as from a 2013 file type to something older in Word. There are other file types you can change it to. Go to File, Save As. Okay, remember we're always going to save to the OneDrive. Okay, so, and I want to save to Word Section 1 folder. Okay, and that brings my Save As dialog box up. Okay, so what I want to look for here is right down here. By default, it will want to save it as a document, as a 2013 document. If you click on the down arrow here, you can see all of these different file types this document can be saved as. A common way to save something right here is the .doc. That's the older version of Word. So if you're sending a document to somebody that you know has an older version of Word, you can choose that and they'll definitely be able to open it. Okay. Another very common one is you can save a Word document as a .pdf. And what's great about that is anybody in the whole wide world, no matter what type of word processor they have, or any kind of program or computer, Mac, Apple, Android, anything, they can open this file and view it. PDF is a universal format that any computer anywhere can open. So that one's a pretty typical one. Another one that's very similar to PDF is the rich text format, which PDF typically is in a format that's difficult to change, make editing changes. Rich text format, however, saves it more like a Word file or a word processed file, and it makes making changes to the document easier for someone who doesn't have Word. So like if you could save it as a .rtf file and send it to somebody and they could open it in Pages on their Mac and be able to make changes. So that's what that is. That's different ways to save. Also, when you're in Word and you're saving, and maybe you're here and you're like, oh shoot, I wish I had a folder I could put this in. An easy way to do that, right here, new folder. And then new one. I'll just name it because I'm not creative at all. So there's new one. And then also in here, you can change the names of files. If you point at a file and right click, convert file, or here, rename, and then you can change it right there. Okay, I'm going to click save here. Oh, cancel. I didn't want to do that. Cancel. Okay, so I clicked on that, and that's why it's saving it like that. So I'm going to save it as WS. Okay. Okay, final thing here, how to use a thesaurus. Let's say I'm reading through this and I can see there's a word here. Instead of the word romantic, I maybe want to choose a different word. And I'm having writer's block today. I can't really think of a good word to put in place of romantic. I'm going to double click it. And then I'm going to right click it and click synonyms, and right here are some synonyms I could possibly pick. Okay, I could even go to the thesaurus and maybe find some other ones. Okay, so that's how you can, then when you find one that's you like, maybe dreamy here, oh, where did it go? You can insert it into the document. Okay, so that's how you use the thesaurus. And that's it for that.